on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. Energy, electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? Jayla was in about all and about, and now I'm... Gene, how we doing, my man? How's everything
I'm doing
going?
good, man. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Good. I'm doing good. It does look... Yeah, could you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it looks like we got J-Lo in the house. It's like a Sprint commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But this is the Buccaneers with Buck What You Heard, multi-streaming live here for our weekend of football kickoff show. It's usually Saturday mornings, but we're doing it on a Friday as some peeps will be out and about. Joey headed to the Notre Dame game. I'm heading to New Orleans for the Bucs game that we're going to talk all about here shortly and so much more. But first and foremost, I got to bring in my arch nemesis, Gene, for a minute here. And I got to ask him something. On a serious note, though, Gene, how's your family holding up through Hurricane Milton? Is everything okay on your guys' end?
Yeah, the kids are great. My parents, the power did not go out, which is crazy to me. And they're doing fine. And actually, my son just texted me a little bit ago and told me that they finally got power on over in West Tampa, so where he's at. So I'm real happy. I'm just thankful that this storm wasn't what we thought it was going to be when it was out in the Bay. And I just hope this lucky rabbit's foot that Tampa has just continues, man, because this could have been way worse than what it was. And I think a lot of people are blessed to not have had a direct hit, because it could have been really bad. So Florida's strong. I mean, I feel guilty that I'm here and I'm not there with them, that I can kind of suffer through this with them, but I'm glad everybody's okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys and your family is okay specifically, Gene. Scary stuff, as you said, Tampa's seemingly rabbit foot. We'll take the rabbit foot for stuff like that all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. So great to hear that you and yours are okay. We got MK in the chat saying, I hope everybody's okay. This is such a great podcast. My man Gene, let's hope him hit 1,000. I agree. Mr. H, Puckhead, Mike Puckhead saying, greetings, men, from our Nebraska native. Puckhead in the house. Eric Moreno tuned in right now as well. Pepin Steppin tuned in right now as well. J-Lo, how you holding up, brother? I know you were working at the hospital kind of in the middle of things during the hurricane, right in the smack dab of the middle of the hurricane. How did that go, and did you stay safe? How's your family doing?
I mean, so far the family's good. Both my kids have power with their mothers. Unfortunately, I have no power yet in my home. Waiting patiently, I gotta be patient because I know I'm not the only one. The hospital life was quite an experience. My 12 years working there, I never had to stay there during the hurricane. But I must say, shout out to the healthcare workers for doing such a great job taking care of the patients there during that rough time.
Yeah, that's really important. Thank you to you and yours and your coworkers for helping people out through that. And kudos to you guys for being safe, you and your family. Hope you get power back soon. Our buddy A-Cat's podcast partner, he's hanging in there. He lost power momentarily. His seems to be back on, he reported. Stunna's mom's house suffered some damage, but Stunna himself, I think, survived okay. Huncho survived. So the Buccaneers stood strong across the board. We hope Florida and our fellow podcast listeners did as well. Really scary stuff. I was in Jacksonville on Monday, guys, and as we were leaving our hotel, we had, I still had all my Bucs stuff on because even though we lost, I still wear my team shit. I don't really give a
Right.
damn. So I had all my Bucs stuff on as we did our road trip last week. Me and my family, my girlfriend, shout out to all of them. As we were leaving our Jacksonville hotel, we had people with Buccaneers stuff checking in the hotel, kind of saying, hey, they evacuated the storm to Jacksonville, but now Jacksonville's even getting some really bad flooding. So you really just can't seem to escape these bastards one way or another.
A storm that size, you almost had to leave the state in order to not be at least not get affected. And maybe somebody on maybe the panhandle didn't get it, but I think the majority of the state got it.
Not to sound like that, but it would have almost been a good idea, Gene, to like take a vacation, go to New Orleans, follow the team a little bit,
Exactly.
and set yourself up for Bucs Saints. I know tickets are pricey, so that's another thing. But for real, I hope everybody is okay, and I'm hoping everybody is okay. Speaking of okay, the Buccaneers seem to be okay, Mr. Gene and J-Lo, as their injury report came out not too long ago. And for this big divisional matchup, Gene, it does look like we'll probably get Kancey and Godecki back, maybe a Winfield. Some key guys might be out, but for starters, let's talk about the return or the likely return of Kancey and Godecki. That's huge for a matchup like Bucs Saints, Gene.
Most definitely, man. This is something that the Bucs need. This is a must-win game, and I don't want to sound, I don't want this to sound like hyperbole or anything, but this is a must-win game. The division rival, and this is a game that the Bucs they need this game, just to make their path to the playoffs easier. And with the loss, I mean, the Bucs are not 100% healthy, but I feel like there are some players that are going to be able to come in and step up and really make some plays. A guy that I'm really looking forward to seeing is Sean Tucker. I feel like that's a man he's gonna come in and he's gonna get some touches, and I think that he will definitely help this team along the way.
And Eric Moreno says, and Winfield. The thing is, Gene, I mentioned Kancey and Godecki, and I was saving Winfield because I truly feel like Kancey and Godecki are probably 95 to 99% chance of playing, barring a setback. We heard Coach Todd Bowles last week before the Falcons game say, hey, if this matchup was on Sunday, Kancey probably does play. And
Right.
if Godecki cleared concussion protocol, which he was close to, he probably would have played as well. It seems like Winfield is more of a 60-40-ish type to play. I would lean that he will probably play, but with an injury like that, the last thing you want to do is rush him back. Next thing you know, you suffer a very long-term injury. But he is a gamer. If he could even contribute half of his usual snaps, you will see Winfield Jr. out there. But Eric, that's kind of why I separated them. Elton John.
MK. The one thing that stuck out to me, and this game really pissed me off probably more than any other Bucs fans, because I know the majority, I would say 90% of the Bucs hate the Saints as much as I hate Atlanta. So we're on two totally different planes here. But I was so pissed off about this game that I'm going to go on record saying, if everybody comes back healthy, the Bucs will beat Atlanta in Tampa. They're going to split. They're going to split the series, and I'm that's my hot take for tonight. Just the way Tampa played them, I just don't feel like they had all their defense. If their defensive Kancey plays, if Winfield plays, you're looking at a totally different team just based on those two players. And I really believe that just with everybody healthy, going in and into Tampa, playing Atlanta in Tampa with the creamsicle, as superstitious as I am about creamsicle, I'm going to go on record saying that I believe that Tampa will beat Atlanta. Atlanta has a good team, but I feel like Tampa beat themselves, and I'll go on record saying that, and that's just kind of where it stands.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As I was there, it seemed like, well, we did outplay Atlanta pretty much the entirety of the game.
100%.
We even shook their best player, Young Hui Koo. That doesn't happen much. So I'm very much so looking forward to the Bucs bouncing back against the Saints. It'll be interesting to see Spencer Rattler. To be honest, no disrespect.
That guy scares me.
Yeah, I'm saying no disrespect to Derek Carr, But I think this is almost a better test for the Buccaneers
Yeah.
at this point in time because we saw what Bo Nix did to us, Gene. And I know we're actually Greg Allman had a great
Jaden
tweet.
Daniels. I mean, I'm glad we got Jaden Daniels when we did.
Yeah, exactly. We got lucky there. Not lucky, but that's how the schedule falls, so we'll
Right.
take it. Hey Jonas, how the hell you doing? Hope all is well. But Gene, Greg Allman actually had a great tweet because somebody was like, "Oh, Spencer Rattler, these rookie quarterbacks always kill the Bucs." Well, the Buccaneers are actually better than league average against rookie quarterbacks since Todd Bowles got here, Gene. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but kind of funny because everybody runs with this illusion the Bucs are bad against rookie QBs, but they're actually
I'll
better
tell
than
you.
the league
I'll tell
average.
you what that is. And to me, Mitch Trubisky and
Mhm.
Danny Dimes are two atrocious quarterbacks, and they had a field day against the Bucs defenses. And I stand by this, because their day was so monumental, each one of them, they were like able to get huge contracts. So to me, I feel like it just fell at the wrong time. And with Bo Nix, you got to add that in there. But honestly, I could see that, and I believe that Tampa will be just fine. They, as the series goes. But yeah, Spencer Rattler he makes me nervous because he's more of a mobile quarterback. Derek Carr is more of a statue, and it bodes well for our defenses. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game.
J-Lo, thoughts on Spencer Rattler? Are you with Gene and I? And hey, this will be an interesting test for the Bucs, or do you see Spencer Rattler and do you start licking your chops? And thoughts on the Greg Allman statistic as well? And Gene, you made a great point because that happens all the time in life, right? Something drastic happens once or twice, and
Yep.
everybody thinks it's going to happen over and over and over again. But these are
Yep.
rare occurrences. But since it was Daniel Jones, and since it was the
That's
likes
how
of
you got the
Daniel
nickname
Jones,
Danny Dimes was from that Bucks game. What's Cousins? Cousins in Washington. You like that? That was
yeah,
against the Bucks. I mean, like I said, these are all quarterbacks that, and it isn't all of them, but there are just certain quarterbacks that just raise the ire of Bucks fans, and it sticks in their minds, and they forget about some of the other quarterbacks that the Bucks have just rattled and made them, just made them look really bad. But again, it's gonna be interesting to see how the Bucks handle this.
yeah, especially with potentially Cansey, potentially Winfield back in the mix as well. So, rookie, hey, you want to come play? Well, we're gonna bring a lot of our defenders back. Now we'll get into the injury report. A lot of questionables. Yay, I love that. J-Lo, thoughts on everything kind of said the past couple minutes here?
I mean, Spencer Rattler, I'm kind of glad we're playing him now in his first game
It's
compared
true.
to Bo Nitz's, experience getting his first couple games in there. I think New Orleans has got a very weak offensive line. I just don't see them really doing what Denver did to us unless Bucks beat the Bucks. And let's remember, we're getting Kalijah Cansey back, who have been missing tremendously on the pass rush. And I think Bowles is going to bring the house all over Spencer Rattler and put the heat on him. That's what I think on that part.
And I think we need to do that because as you mentioned Bo Nix, I mentioned Bo Nix, Gene mentioned Bo Nix. We kind of need a rookie payback game. We need that Jaden Daniels type of game where, hey, rookie, go ahead and scramble for 80 to 90 yards. Yeah, that's really good stuff, but when we're not letting you pass the ball. With Bo Nix, it was like we're getting juked out of our shoes, regardless if it's run pass or whatever. Jonas says, I want to see Godecki dominate. I think he'll have his chance to because whatever side of the football Cam Jordan lines up on, Gene, he looks a little older this day and age. He hasn't looked like the old crisp Cam Jordan, and he's still talking the same amount of shit, it looks like.
Yeah, he really is. And again, I think this is the ideal time for me to really bring this back up again. Cam Jordan is still upset with Tampa for passing over him for Adrian Claiborne. and I'm not even joking about this. He won't even acknowledge. He will not acknowledge. I've tweeted him. I've like added him on a tweet and said, "Hey, it's okay. I understand you're upset with the Buccaneers and you want to talk trash, but don't take it out on us because an idiot GM didn't pick you up. It's not our fault." And but you listen to him, he has more vitriol for the Bucs than he does for the Atlanta Falcons. Despite whatever he may say, you can see it. You can see it in his comments. I mean, throughout the years, it's always been he's throwing shade at Tampa. He throws less shade at Atlanta, who's supposed to be their division rivals, than he does with us. So yeah, Cam, I think Cam's going to have a successful career behind, in front of the camera as an announcer. He's a natural, but I think his best years are behind him, and I think he's delusional if he thinks that the Saints are actually going to win a Super Bowl this year.
J-Lo, thoughts on Rashid Shaheed? Our guy Bud Cannibalist mentioned him. Shout out to him. King Cook says, "What's up, fellas? What's up to you, King Cook? Welcome in, my man. We're glad to have you back as always." Oh yeah, quickly, Gene. I'm glad you weren't here on Tuesday, and I'm glad we got Tuesday. We went live. We kind of knew it was going to be a hit or miss show. A lot of our regulars were obviously preparing for Hurricane Milton, but we wanted to give people a place to maybe lighten up the mood a little bit if you wanted that type of thing. But Gene, you should have seen all these Saints jackasses try and treat us like crap in they were saying the most vulgar, inappropriate things, trying to hijack the chat and kind of making fun. They were making fun of the hurricane. They were talking about some other nasty stuff, but
wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, we had to block like 8 people because they kept coming back with different YouTube fake names too. Someone came back as quote unquote, I choked the chicken, for example, was one of the names.
Wow.
One of the names was Hitler. One of the there were just a bunch of terrible names, and we had to block like 8 people. But I'm glad you weren't there because you would have went off.
What's interesting about that is they swear that we're not rivals. They swear that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Saints are not rivals. Me personally, I've got a lot of friends that are Saints fans, and I give them grief. I always give them the business whenever I can.
Gene Bud was there. Somebody said something about baby oil and lube, and it was weird. Yeah, somebody's name was Diddy. It was the craziest thing in the world. It was the craziest thing in the world, I swear. Bud can vouch. Hey, I'm glad we got a strong chat tonight. Let those bastards come back tonight. We'll chew them up with Bud and MK.
Bro, I love chicken wings. And let me go on record saying boneless chicken nuggets that they call boneless chicken wings are chicken nuggets. They are not fucking wings, okay? I'm gonna put that out. I have to use profanity to emphasize how serious I am about this. Wings have bones in them. They're wings. They're just wings, and you eat them with blue cheese, of course. And that's you talk to the people in Buffalo where wings are allegedly were originated, and that's just how it is. But I love wings, man. I mean, if I could, I would grill wings every single Sunday, going all the way up to the end of the season if I could.
I would turn into a chicken wing if I could. So you know what I'm saying? Bud mentioned Rashid. You want to go do? No, I'm not. LeBron.
No.
Remember when
said no Diddy?
Bad boy for life.
Remember when LeBron said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." LeBron, that was LeBron. He said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." So
wow, man. I mean, I wonder how these people really feel looking back on some of the dumb shit they said.
Well, and social media makes it far too easy.
I know social media is the worst sometimes, but I will say this as a Gen Xer, I am so glad there wasn't cameras. So glad there wasn't social media. I'm so glad there wasn't all this.
Well,
stuff.
That's what you think. That's what you think.
I'm just telling you, man. I'm just glad that it wasn't that way, bro. Because it would have been embarrassing for me. So.
No, I got a whole montage of stuff of you from the past. No, I'm kidding. But J-Lo, thoughts on Saints Bucks? Rashid Shaheed thought that's probably why they started Spencer Rattler too. Reports were saying because his arm strength is stronger than Jake Hayner's for a guy like Shaheed. J-Lo, thoughts?
I mean, Rashid Shaheed, whatever. I mean, I'm not too intimidated by him. unless they play that stupid zone, which I hope they don't. I think they need to go man to man. You put Zion or Dean, either one. I think man to man, they'll both be able to shut him down. I'd rather get beat deep once or twice by Shaheed than giving him cushion in the zone to make plays. To me, he's more of a deep threat anyway. So I feel Winfield being back, I'll make a huge difference when it comes to guarding him. Because Chris Olave has been off to a really slow start. He has not really done much. The former number one, wide receiver pick for the Saints. So to me, Shaheed doesn't really intimidate me, and Taysom Hill's not playing either. Thank God.
We do have a fantasy question, so I'll get to that. Pate says,
Sure.
who wins this trade? Devontae Adams and James Cook for DJ Moore and Javonte Williams. I'll go ahead and say DJ Moore and Javonte Williams, only because A, you don't know the status of Devontae Adams moving forward, and B, I feel like he's going to get traded at some point. And wide receivers who get traded during the middle of the season never seem to fare too well, and it takes him probably 3 or 4 weeks to catch up. Gene, do you have any preference in that? Who won that trade?
I would take the DJ Moore, Javonte Williams, and I'm going to tell you why. I just don't feel like Devontae Adams has been the same since him and Aaron Rodgers were together. We've seen flashes in Oakland, but we just haven't seen that rhythm. You know what I mean? It just hasn't been. He hasn't been the same since he was in Green Bay. And I put it that way. And I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's quarterback coaching. I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know what it is, but something is off about Devontae Adams. And I'm going to go on record saying, man, fuck you, Aaron Rodgers, you little bitch. And, back to our regularly scheduled programming. But but honestly, Devontae Adams has not been the same since he was with Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers only won one Super Bowl, and he's supposed to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation, or whatever.
Yeah, that's always an interesting one, the great Aaron Rodgers. We're going to get to him in the Jets situation with Joey Nips when he comes on, because that's a whole cake to dive into right there, fellas. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but Bud Cannibalist says I'd take Moore and Williams. Now, J-Lo, quick thoughts on the trade, then we're going to get to our injury report as we have questions on the injuries.
I mean, Devontae Adams, I don't know. I made the mistake of drafting him 2 of my leads, and I should have thought it a lot better than I did. I thought maybe Pierce might would have made a difference, but they never got a quarterback, which was a huge fail on their part. So as far as that goes, I wouldn't even touch Devontae Adams.
And you know what? You make a great point, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think it's the Raiders, because Randy Moss was a Raider.
Mm-hmm.
And we forgot about Randy Moss. He fell off until he got out of the black hole. And
Antonio Brown, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For like 5 seconds, he was. Yeah. The quitter was
he didn't even quit. Well, he quit at the end, but during that, he didn't quit as much as I would have expected him to quit.
I think his helmet quit, remember, or something like that. Or, the feet with the ice bath. He had a lot of weird situations going on.
He's just weird. I wonder, did he pay all those players in Albany? I'm always curious about that. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Speaking of curious, you're live here on Buccaneers, Buck What You Heard crossover, our Saturday Showdown special on a Friday night, bringing you guys all football talk, Bucs Saints talk, and the injury report right now. Remember, whether you're watching on Gene's YouTube, our YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on. So anytime any of us fellas do go live, you could do what Pate just did. Hop on and ask us a question, and we'll be happy to answer it with our best ability. Speaking of ability, the best ability is availability. Here's the ability on the injury report. It's an interesting one because Graham Barton is out. Rookie center is ruled out, but we do have Robert Hainsey backing up, so that ain't bad. Ernest Brown is out. Remember, he's been out the year. D lineman made the active roster, but he got put on IR before week 1, so he got designated to return from IR. It won't be this week. He has 2 more games to do that, or else he's out for the year. Christian Izien is out, which is a big loss because he's kind of the pull and plug type of guy. Hey, Winfield's out, step in here. and so forth like that. So that's a big loss. Cameron Johnson's out. We're going to have to talk about wide receiver because Trey Palmer's out as well. And then you have Rashad White, who's doubtful, guys, which means a lot of work for Sean Tucker. We'll get into that. Then Luke Godecki, Kalijah Cansey, Jalen McMillan, Jordan Whitehead, and Antoine Winfield are all questionable. Gene, thoughts on that grocery list of injuries?
Man, it's almost, I hate to sound cliche, but it's next man up. It's going to be interesting to see who they bring out there, and all these guys have to do is do their job. I think that the Bucs will be they'll be just fine. I know that Todd Bowles is very familiar with the New Orleans Saints, and I just feel like he can come out there and make some things happen. He's actually more successful than Bruce Arians, so there is that. And King Cook was asking about Graham Barton. I think it's a hamstring injury, right?
Yep, his
Soft tissue.
hammy.
Yeah, so.
His hammy. It seems like hamstrings are the type where you don't want to risk that either. Jalen McMillan last week. All you got to do is upset the apple cart of the hamstring.
It's interesting. And again, we are. We're early in the season and we're having these injuries. Let's hope that we can get to a certain point where everybody start to play and getting working on that cohesiveness to carry us into the bye week, because I think our bye week is week 11, right?
It's right after November 10th. It's tucked in there, so we'll see how that goes. But Mr. Gene, you make some great points. Bud says Saints always put a bullseye on Godwin. Well, yeah, he does always seem to go down against the Saints when he does get hurt. But speaking of bullseye, JC Allen's here with the bullseye for Gene, I think. Is it's not too far off where JC is going to say acknowledge him. So we'll acknowledge him before he says acknowledge me. But J-Lo, we let Gene kind of dive into the Bucs side of injury report. We're going to let you dive into the Saints side of things, where theirs is a little bit hefty as well. They do have Derek Carr obviously out, as we've been talking about Spencer Rattler and their backup Hayner. Will Harris is out with the hamstring, those damn hamstring. That's a big loss for them. Taysom Hill seemed to be a Bucs killer in his past life. He's out. Cesar Ruiz, starting O-lineman's out. Pete Warner, the linebacker, is out as well. And then Peyton Turner, Kendre Miller, and Lucas Patrick are questionable for them. Lucas Patrick is already their third center, guys. So they're going to be maybe down to their fourth or third or whatever the hell they're down to. J-Lo, thoughts on the Aints injury report as we head into Sunday?
I mean, Derek Carr has shown his true colors, truthfully. I mean, I feel like even if he did play, he doesn't scare me at all. I feel like we can definitely take him. To me, Taysom Hill being out is huge. He is a butt killer, even this day and age. But Alvin Kamara's not 100%. That's one thing that did catch my attention. Yeah, I'm expecting him to play, but he's not going to be 100%. So to me, that's the biggest thing. You shut down Kamara, you shut down their run game, and then you bring the house on Rattler. I think we got a good shot at keeping them out of the end zone, and then hopefully the offense will go put points on the board.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And if I were to pull apart the injury reports, I'm looking, Graham Barton does stink to lose him, but he's a rookie. You could take this game to recover. Watch how Hainsey does, learn a little bit from a veteran, and then he'll get right back into the starting lineup next week with maybe even more tools in his shed. And then on the Saints side of things, it's interesting to me, again, rookie quarterback. I know we've been talking about it, but Derek Carr being out, that's always interesting when your starting quarterback goes down in some way, shape, or form, or in some size of capacity there as well. Speaking of capacity, the Bucs broadcast booth will be at full capacity this Sunday as we do kick off 1 o'clock on Fox, and it is 1 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Central time. It will be on Fox, and we have Adam Amin and Greg Olson. That's a pretty damn good broadcast booth, Gene. I'm a fan of that broadcast booth. Greg Olson was Fox's main announcer last year. Adam Amin is the Chicago Bulls play-by-play guy. To me, this is a pretty strong pairing for the week. I'm looking forward to that. Mr. Gene. You're muted, I think.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
Sorry
good. You're
about that.
good.
No, you know, as long as it's not a CBS announced crew, I'm good. I just, for some reason, with the Bucs, I do not like CBS announced crews. I don't care for them. I don't mind ABC. ABC is okay, I guess, or ESPN when they have Monday night. But I'm good with any of them. I'm looking forward to this game. This will be a great measuring stick to see where the Bucs are. And I know I keep saying that, but there's so many unknowns with the injuries, with players getting opportunities to play. This is a great chance to see what they can do against talent, division talent, and how this will bode for us as at the Bucs going into the fighting for that playoff position.
I love it. I love it. J-Lo, thoughts? What say you on the announce crew? Adam Amin, Greg Olson on Fox at 1 o'clock, kickoff Eastern time.
No, I think it's a good crew. I'm with Gene. I'm not a big fan of the CBS crew. As far as that goes, I don't mind who it is. As far as that
And then
goes,
Well,
Collinsworth.
we're used to back in the day when NFC was pure Fox and CBS was pure AFC. So we're a little we're Fox guys. We're NFC guys. For those youngins out there who are like, what? Yeah, before a couple of years ago, NFC was always on Fox and AFC was always on CBS. Now, of course, when they played each other, weird enough, the road team got the home broadcast. So say if the Ravens played at Bucs, it would be CBS broadcast booth and whatnot, but neither near or here, fellas. Speaking of near or here, or whatever the hell I'm saying, I think I'm tripping up over my words now, but yeah, whatever. Think I was dropped on my head this past week or something. I don't know what. I got an early flight to New Orleans, so I'm all revved up, but we do have Saints Bucs players to look out for on the Saints side of the ball. Jayla, we'll start with you here. If you were to pinpoint one New Orleans Saints, it could be offense, defense, special teams that you feel alarmed about ahead of Sunday's game. What say you on who that is? And our guy Richard T is here saying, hope everyone's okay through Milton. Thank you very much, Richard. We did as well. Bud says, so the matchup is Dean on Olave. So Bud's guy to look out for is Olave. Who is yours, J-Lo?
I say Alontae Taylor on Chris Godwin. To me, I feel like he's one of the best defenders on the Saints roster. I think Lattimore is not the same what he used to be. I think he's still a good corner. But Alontae Taylor in the slot, I think, is very intriguing to me on how they're going to utilize Chris Godwin in the slot.
Gene, you're saying Bud stole your answer. Are you going to stick with Chris Olave then, or are you going to shake it up?
I was, but I'll go with I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara against the linebacker room. I love Levante David, not taking anything away from him, but KJ Britt has he's got to step it up. He's got to be more consistent. And again, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm happy that we have him. He's he's got a high football IQ, but we need to see more from him. And it just concerns me going up against Alvin Kamara.
That's a really good answer with KJ Britt, Gene, because yes, it's not like he's a bad or dumb football player. He's just he could use a step, or he could use a little bit of the playbook learning right now, elevate his game a little bit. And against a guy like Alvin Kamara, that's a hard thing to do. Jonas says Yaya versus Penning. Bud says not a bad choice. I'm gonna choose without Taysom Hill. This guy, people forget. He went over 100 yards against us in week 17 in our house last year when the Bucs had the chance to clinch at home. Jawan Johnson, their tight end, went for well over 100 yards, found his way into the end zone. Now you have Taysom Hill out, so his role will even be elevated. I don't know what the hell happened against the Saints last year. Well, I do know because I watched the game, but I'm just saying we never let up field days to tight ends. Here, Jawan Johnson came in and kind of kicked our ass all over the place. So we got Alvin Kamara being mentioned. J-Lo mentioned a defender, which I like the change of pace because we all mentioned offense. I mentioned Jawan Johnson. We had a Chris Olave mentioned. We had Rashid Shaheed by Richard. and King Cook said Kamara. So a lot of good choices there. Speaking of good choices, we're going to try and help you guys make some good choices with our Bucs Bets, it's called. We always go into the world of Bucs betting and try and give you guys our recommendations. We're going to cue the music, and we're going to go around, and we're going to switch off here on answering Bucs Bets questions. So get your phone books out, fellas, if you do that sort of thing. If not, just play along with us, sit back, relax, and give us your thoughts as well on what way you're betting this weekend. Gene, we're going to start with you. Buccaneers -3.5 for straight money. So if you bet 20 on that, you would win 20. Or would you go Bucs money line just to win straight up, bet 20 and win about 12 or 13 back? What do you feel more comfortable with?
I don't know. I'd probably bet. I'd probably try to win the extra money personally. This is one of those games. I think what I saw from the Bucs offense, and I love Liam Cohen, by the way. Shout out to Liam Cohen. You're killing it, man. And I really believe he's going to continue to get better at play calling. He's going to get a lot more comfortable with the personnel that he has. He's going to get players back from injury that he didn't have, and I really believe he's just going to continue to get better. And I'll get to my point here in a second, but when these guys are getting these snaps, they're getting meaningful snaps in games that matter. When they're called upon later on in the season, it's really going to matter. But just what they're doing right now, I'm excited about it, and I would go ahead and make that bet, man. I would try to win that extra money.
I like the Bucs too at -3.5, so I'm with you there as well, Mr. Gene. J-Lo, you get the over-under in the game, over-under 41.5 points, $20 to win $20. Do you think the Bucs and Saints get to 42 combined?
I say under. I think Spencer Rattler's going to struggle, and I feel the Bucs offense might get to a little slow start, might be a little rusty, but I like the points would be under.
I have the total points scored by the Buccaneers over under 22.5. Funny because I got them getting right around 24, so I'll go with over. I think the Bucs do get to that over mark. I got them getting to 27, 26 points-ish, the Bucs, 24 to 27 range. So give me the over for the Bucs score to be exact. Mr. Gene, out of the following quote-unquote big wigs, all the Bucs favorites to get into the end zone, where would your money go? $10 on Bucky Irving to win 10, $10 on Mike Evans to win $10.50, or $10 on Chris Godwin to win $13.80, or a surprise one, $10 on Sean Tucker to win $16.50. So Bucky Irvin 10 to win 10, Evans 10 to win $10.50, Godwin 10 to win $13.80, or Sean Tucker 10 to win $16.50.
Wow, I'm just thinking what I'm gonna do with this $13 here, because I know that Chris Godwin's getting in the end zone. Trust and believe me on that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that pick, especially being out of the end zone for a week or two now. He's gonna find his way back.
Hungry,
He's still been productive, but kind of weird, not weird, but interesting seeing Sean Tucker's odds that high without Rachaad White and without a couple of other guys, because he's going to play a big role returning and running back, because you're without Trey Palmer, who's a return candidate. You're without Jalen McMillan, or maybe he might be back, but with the hamstring, they're not going to have him returning. Obviously, a couple other guys out as well. So the Bucs are going to have their hands full, and so is Sean Tucker. J-Lo, out of the middle tier guys, who would you put your money on to score a touchdown? 10 on Cade Otton to win $28.50. 10 on Sterling Shepard to win you $33, or 10 on Jalen McMillan to win you $37.50.
I say give me Cade Otton. Give me big Cade Otton to get that touchdown.
And I'll take the
Sterling Shepard.
I like Sterling Shepard. Last week he should have had 2 touchdowns damn near, but Big Show did miss him on the one, but Sterling Shepard still got open. I think he's been playing his way into wide receiver 3, even when McMillan's healthy. I like the odds on Cade and Shepard there. I'd bet 5 on each, and you'd win money either way. So there you go. I'll take the long shot odds. The only 2 listed are Peyton Durham, you bet 10 to win 100, or Keith, you bet 10 to win 150. Give me Keith in a surprise one because he's good for 1 touchdown a season. He averages 1 a year so far in the NFL, and with kind of a low amount of wide receivers healthy this week, with a low amount of running backs healthy this week, I could see this being the week that Keith finds his way into the end zone. Now, moving on here to the next category. We're not going to do 2 or 3 touchdown games because those are so unpredictable. Here comes player passing. Gene, Baker Mayfield over under 234.5 passing yards.
Over. I'm going to go over.
I like
somebody
that.
mentioned about Rashawn Lattimore, and I really believe that this is going to be a breakout game for Mike Evans. I'm going to go on record saying that.
I agree with you. Clock 5 says can't have relaxed Rattler. I agree. We got to blitz the fuck out of him. Part of my language, part of my French, but we do just got to straight up blitz his ass and make his day a nightmare. J-Lo, player to have more. Nah, actually, let's go with Baker Mayfield over under 1.5 touchdown passes. $10 would win you $10.20.
I say over.
And so you think he gets to 2+? I agree with that, especially with the shortage on running backs. As Gene said, Sterling Shepard looks good. Obviously, you got Mike Evans, you got Godwin, you got Otten. So I like that a lot. I have total pass attempts by Baker, 32.5. I'm going to go with under 32.5 pass attempts. I think he has an effective day, but I don't see him throwing the ball 33 times. I think the Bucs are up the whole game and running the ball a good amount. Gene, over under half an interception by Spencer Rattler. Do you see him throwing an interception?
Yes. I would jump on that. He's a rookie. This is his first game. 9 times out of 10, or I'd say 9 times out of 10, your rookie quarterback's not going to be as polished as you think he could be. We look back at Jaden Daniels and how the Bucs were able to overcome and actually, just get to him. And I really believe we're going to see the same thing with Rattler. Again, he does make plays with his legs, so they have to get pressure on him. But I believe that the Bucs will get pressure on him to make up for last week, and it's going to shake him. And I think that's easy money.
I agree with that. I think Bucs do get at least 1 interception and maybe a fumble or 2 in there as well on a strip sack. Is moments away from Joey Nips joining when we get into our Bucs score predictions and player of the games. I don't know if that's Joey Nips or guy preparing for the Atlantic Blizzard, but we'll bring him in here shortly as he awaits us. J-Lo, Mike Evans over under 57.5 receiving yards. As Olive says, hey, we love our lady listeners. How you doing, Olive? J-Lo, over under 57.5 Evans receiving yards.
I say over. I think he's going to have a good game against Lattimore. It's going to be a fun battle, but I say over.
Huncho just texted us. He still remains without power, so thoughts with him, but he won't be able to make it. Thoughts with him as he's battling Hurricane Milton effects. I go Chris Godwin over 63.5 receiving yards as well. Gene, Bucky Irvin over under 18.5 receiving yards.
I'm going to go under on that just because that's what I'm expecting the linebacker room to kind of try to neutralize that a little bit. And so that's kind of where I'm going.
J-Lo, K. Dotton over under 34.5 receiving yards. J-Lo?
My bad. Under. I say under for K-Dotton for 35 yards.
So you like him to get into the end zone maybe, but maybe not his yardage. I like that. Okay, I could get with that. Rushing yards, Bucky Irvin over under 60.5. I'm going to go over on that. I think Bucky Irvin gets a lot of touches on the ground. Gene, Baker Mayfield over under 12.5 rushing yards.
I'm going to go. I'm a superstitious. I'm going to go under.
I like that as well. You can't do everything over. We'll stick with under there. J-Lo, field goals. Total kicking points by Chase McLaughlin, 7.5 over under.
I say over. He'll get the 7.5 for sure.
And I'll take the last one of our Bucs bet segments because defensive bets aren't out yet with all the questionable injuries, I believe. Total yards of longest field goal successful over under is 46.5 yards. I'm going to go with over a 46.5 yard field goal made in this game by either McLaughlin, who Pewter Report put out an article how he's the best kicker in Bucs history, against Group, the Saints kicker. I think one of them will be able to make over 46.5 yards. Speaking of yards, we got Joey Nipson with his yard work hat on. I don't know what the hell happened to it, but Joey Nips, how the hell are you? Welcome into the program, my friend.
Absolutely. On Friday Night Lights with the boys, it's a really good time to be back. Changing it up a little, and obviously prayers out to everybody in the Florida area. You know, we want everyone staying safe, and that's more important than any football game that will take place this weekend. But let's get it. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, and that's what we're here for. A home away from home is listening to the Buccaneers, so let's get after it. And good afternoon, gentlemen.
Since you're talking, Joey, and good evening to you, my afternoon. What the hell? Are you in Hawaii or something?
Hey, people are listening from all over the world. We got to respect every time zone, my man.
Hey, we do have our Canadian friends or Europe friends, a lot of friends all over the map, but they're all time zones ahead of us. But neither near or here. Joey, since you're talking, we're going to start with you, my friend. Score prediction, Bucs Saints, and who is your Buccaneer player to look out for in this one?
Man, I mean, obviously the quarterback news you guys already dug into, it changes things a lot for me. I'm not even a huge Carr guy, but he's of course much better. I don't really buy into him. People say it will be hard because they haven't seen him before. These are guys that are very raw, late round picks that a lot of quarterbacks were choosing ahead of Rattler, even in drafts. So I'm gonna go Bucs. Saints defense is pretty good. I'll go Bucs 24, Saints 13. And what will end up, it might be a little close in the first half. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout all the way, but the Bucs pull away as this game gets on, 24-13. And I'll say that's mostly due to, I watch a lot of that Chiefs Saints game. That Saints defense, they do have some players there that can make big plays, and they're not afraid to get after it. I'm going to go with Godwin as player of the game. He's Mr. Reliable, Mr. Safety Blanket. I really think Baker looks to him a lot in this game to get many first downs, and he ends up with 8+ catches.
Yeah, I like that. Godwin and is due for a big one. Not due, but he's in line for a big one. Gene and I agree with that. Pops text in 27-17 Bucs. Bucky the Buck has a monster game. Bucky the Buck. I love when Gene. Bucky the Buck. J-Lo, score, player to look out for. J-Lo, you there?
Yes, I'm sorry. My mute button keeps
Playing
messing up.
whack-a-mole down there?
No. Give me. I'll have to say Bucs 33. I'm gonna give him the 30 burger. 33. I think Baker Mayfield's gonna rebound and get the offense going. Saints, give me 17. I think we'll give him 17. Keep him under 20 points.
Baker's your player of the game then?
Yes, Baker's my player of the game. I think he's gonna get a rebound and get a big dub for the Bucs.
I like that a lot. And even if you do chat yours, guys, we write it down, and at the end of the year, we see everybody's win-loss record who has participated in Bucs score predictions. Clock 5 says 33-17 Bucs. That's what J-Lo just said as well. Wow. Gene, so far we got 24-13, 33-17, 27-17. What say you?
Yeah, I'm superstitious, but I will say this.
Oh, yes.
Mike
no
Evans,
score from Gene.
No score from Gene. There you go. Mike Evans needs 724 yards to break 1,000. So definitely keep an eye on that. I think that they're going to get him more involved as the season progresses, and I think he'll hit that number. That's my prediction.
And he's on pace for 17 touchdowns right now, a little short of 1,000 yards pace. But as Gene said, I think the Bucs are going to do their best to get him involved and to keep him on that 1,000 yard trajectory. So I love that pick. I'm going to go with I think Chase McLaughlin comes up clutch. I think we get moving a couple times, but don't quite get in the end zone. But I think with the leg of Chase McLaughlin, we have a nice, effective game. I'm going to go with 26-17. Wow, we have a lot of 17 Saints scores with Chase McLaughlin as my co-player, because I'm going to say keep an eye on that bad man, Kalijah Cansey, if he returns to the lineup as well. Remember the first time he came back last year, the first game back for him against the Lions, he wreaked all hell, and that was week 6. So I expect the same. I'm going with Chase and Kalijah to have big games. Kalijah likely back from an injury. Bud says 27-17 with Vita. Wouldn't expect any player less out of Bud other than Vita Vea, who is a monster. Speaking of monster, Joey, we do have Colts monsters looming. It looks like Richardson is a game-time decision. Jonathan Taylor's out. Michael Pittman.
You could have just called me a monster. It's cool.
Well, okay, if you want to give yourself the self-proclaimed monster title,
that could be a bad thing or a good thing.
What are you, Braun Strowman, monster among men? But
yeah, there we go.
Bro,
as SmackDown looms as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's my Friday Night Lights.
Well, yes, sir. Let's go.
The more Joey interrupts, no, I'm kidding. Joey, kind of.
You made me a part-timer. I have to get my words in since you made me part-time.
Yeah, we have a tight budget around here. It's 2024. The money ain't flowing like it used to. But Joey,
tighter than those Notre Dame tickets Mr. H is getting. But anyway, let's back.
Hey, come on, he's in the chat. The Nebraska guy's in the. Come on, man. Unless you
love you, Mr. H. Sorry,
but
I'm
Joey,
done.
give us your thought. Yeah, come on, man, for real now. Jeez, can't even get a word in. No, I'm kidding around. But Joey, thoughts on Colts Titans? What's your score prediction in the land of Tennessee?
Yeah, unfortunately for us, I mean, we do have some injuries going on, as you were alluding to before I went on a whole spiel of nothing. Jonathan Taylor's out. Anthony Richardson will probably play. Michael Pittman's a dog. His dad was a dog. You guys know that from the Tampa days. Pittman's just played. They don't care how injured they are. They're just awesome. And then we got, hopefully, Kwity Paye, Kenny Moore coming back against a Titans team that's coming off a bye week, and they really need a win as well. Their last win was against Miami, so I'm not overly worried. Will Levis will start at quarterback. I know Rudolph came in.
Mayo boy.
Yeah, personally, I think they would probably have maybe been better off going to Rudolph, but to each their own. That being said, I'll go Colts. If Richardson playing, Taylor out, I'm going to go Colts 23, Titans 16. And the player of the game for me is going to be, you know what, Trey Sermon, shout out. Without Taylor there, he had a touchdown last week. He'll be big in the running game. I'll go 23-16 Colts with Sermon as my player of the game.
Bud Cannibalist says, for the shoe, repping them. That's our Colts. That's our Colts. He says 24-13. As that Colts fan, I'll take Port Richie Lou in a fight over him, but both cool.
Well, that, I mean, yeah, I would take a pinata over that Colts singer probably.
Come on, man. Gene,
wow.
thoughts on the Colts singer guy, Gene, if you know who he is, and thoughts on the Colts Titans game in general.
I don't know about this game. I mean, the Colts, I expected the Colts to be a lot more dominant than what we've seen. But again, I have to give some grace to their quarterback. Richardson's been out for forever. And I mean, this is basically his rookie season, to be honest. I mean, so, I mean, if you look at it with the injury that he had last year. So, I know that the big money's on the Colts to win this. I am picking the Titans in an upset special.
Wow.
We got Gene going Titans. J-Lo.
I respect it.
What say you? Colts Titans in Tennessee, Mayo boy or Richardson or Flacco? Not really sure yet on that side. Where you heading, J-Lo?
It was a very tough loss last week for the Colts, giving Jacksonville their first win. That's always a hard one to swallow. But I think they rebound against Tennessee. I just don't think Tennessee's a very good football team at all. So give me the Colts 20, Titans 10. Just because of injuries, Jonathan Taylor, I think, is a big part of their team. And whether Joe Flacco or Richardson plays, to me, Flacco is a veteran that can help you win football games. But I think because of injuries, that's the only reason why I give the Colts 20. But Titans are just not a good football team to me. So give Titans 10.
Joey, what was your score again as I write them down for the
23-16.
So far, we got 24-13. Bud Cannibalist, 20-10 J-Lo, 23-16 Joe. Gene doesn't do scores, but
I'll do scores. This isn't a Bucs team. I'll go 21-17.
Yeah, I don't. This is a hard game to figure out because I thought Colts were really going to upend Jacksonville last week. I really did. Jacksonville was desperate for a win, but based on what I've seen out of the Jaguars this year, I really thought Joe Flacco was going to have that game. By the way,
we put up 34.
Good job by the Colts to go out and get Joe Flacco as the backup quarterback, because if a guy like Richardson does get hurt or go down, then you have a capable veteran who could keep you in ball games. Their defense has to get it turned around in short order. I know someone got released, one of their defensive backs who got burned a couple of times back there. Bud Cannibalist says Matt Gay with the game winner. That would be good for Colts fans, as they are looking to see that, as we have Chase McLaughlin. Let me tell you, I think this is going to be a close game. Going to come down to whoever might have the ball last might end up winning this game, I think. And both of these teams really, if the Titans lose, they're pretty much done. So they're going to come out hungry. They're going to come out swinging. With that being said, I think the Colts win this game regardless if it is Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco. I could see it being either one of these guys at this point, but I think the Colts are going to go in there and do what they should do in this game, and that's win the football game. The Colts should be the better team in this one when it's all said and done at the end of the year, and I think the Colts go into Tennessee and prove that at least for now they are the better team when it's all said and done. I'm going to go 23-21. Colts win on a Matt Gay, not game-winning field goal, but win because of the leg of Matt Gay. And I'm going to go with the player of the game for the Colts in what seems like it's a musical chair revolving door here offensively so far with all the injuries they had, QB, running back, wide receiver-wise. The Colts can't seem to catch a break yet this far. Now a couple offensive linemen playing musical chairs as well. Obviously, DeForest Buckner hurt. So this roster has kind of been fluid to this point. They're still kind of finding their footing. I'm going to look for I'm calling out Grover Stewart to step up.
Yeah.
He needs to, man. This guy gets paid a lot of money. His bread really is
this year.
Well, the scoreboard says otherwise. So I'm looking for Grover to come to play, and I'm looking for him to have a big game in this one. Colts 23-21. I think he makes a big play on Tony Pollard and company. Give me Grover Stewart with the big game. Joey, final thoughts as we move on to all football talk here.
No, I mean, it's just a must win no matter how you slice it and dice it. So 3-3, you feel pretty good about things. Listen, it is such a long season. People do not have patience anymore. It is,
but to your point, that is the thing with football, right? You go 3-3, you're on top of the world. You fall to 2-4, it's going to feel like the world's fallen a little bit.
It is, because that's the sample size we have, and 2-4 is bad. It's not good, but people just need to be patient, relax, give it some time. I think we'll get to 3-3. Could be an ugly win at the end of the day, but we're going to get it. And if we don't, we have Miami the following week where we can get back to close. So
how's your division looking overall?
I mean, really, Houston, obviously they're in first place, but they've had a couple of close games where they almost lost to Jacksonville in the last minute. They won that game. We lost to them by 2, and then Buffalo only lost by 3. So they're playing well, but they're not playing great football. They're playing good football. And then they just had that Nico Collins injury. And then Titans, good defense, offense not really showing too much outside Tony Pollard. And then Jacksonville, I mean, they didn't wake up till last week, but I tell you right now, that team still has a lot of weapons between Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr., who might be one of the best rookie wideouts to come out of the draft from LSU. He ran the fastest time. He's a burner on that touchdown he had. And then also Evan Ingram. So it's a division that looks a little weak with the records right now, but by season's end, I think it'll be a little bit stronger.
AFC and NFC South have been comparable. Now this year, NFC South is kind of flipping the page a little bit towards, how the AFC South used to stack up. But, both are kind of in the same spot the past couple of years where one of those had a good team and then the rest kind of fell in line. Jonas is out of the building. Good night. Go enjoy your evening, Jonas. We appreciate you hanging with us here on the Buccaneers. But the AFC is in an interesting state. All I know is whoever loses this game, not in a great spot. That's why I think Colts know how to handle their business. Listen, nothing against Coach Callahan with the Titans, but he's a little new and inexperienced. Speaking of inexperience, thoughts on the Jets drama? We're going to do a little around the table here with NFL stories. I'm going to ask you all each about a different NFL or college football story, and we're going to talk about it. Joey, I'll give you Robert Saleh's dismissal in New York. Aaron Rodgers, maybe something to do with it. Who the hell knows? But a lot of new stuff going on in New York. Saleh out, interim coach in. Hackett not calling plays anymore offensively. How do you think this entire thing unfolds for the Jets?
I mean, you just said it all right there. The Jets are going to jet at the end of the day. I did have more faith in them this year because I thought Rodgers would stay healthy, which he has. The problem is they haven't – if you watch the game in London, I know Minnesota's a great team, but there was just a lot of dysfunction on the offensive side. And the defensive stats weren't actually that bad. Now, do I believe Robert Saleh is a better D coordinator than head coach? Oh, hell yeah, I do. But you can't tell me that clearly it came down to difference of an opinion, and we will never find out the full facts. Rodgers denied everything on the McAfee show the other day. That being said, we can all read between the lines. We're not idiots. I think the Jets right now, they better start. They have this Monday Night Football game home against Buffalo. They need this. They really do, because if they lose this game after firing a coach and then you're 2-4, you just talked about 2-4, that would be a slope that gets a lot more slate at the end of the day.
J-Lo, Devontae Adams' status still up in the air. What ends up happening with him, in your opinion?
I think once healthy, he'll get dealt. He'll get traded. My best bet would be the Jets. Maybe don't leave out the Saints, even though I don't think it will happen. But here's my wild card team, and I say Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh could be a team that will pull that trade and pull the trigger and bring his talents to Pittsburgh to help, George Pickens out. But those are my three teams I think he'll get traded to. But he's got to get healthy first. That's what's taking so long.
Gene, the Bengals' offense has been incredible this season. Their defense, not so much. Do you see the Bengals turning around at all? And if not, is Zach Taylor the next coach out of a job potentially the first day after the regular season? Are his bags packed if the Bengals don't turn their fates around?
No, I don't think so. I'm actually picking the Giants in another upset special. The Bengals just have not put it together. They have not, and again, it's still early in the season, but just from the games watching them, I just would never feel comfortable picking them, especially with a New York Giants team. And I know they've lost their receiver, but it's gonna, and this is gonna be a very interesting game. But I just don't feel like the Bengals have. This does not look like your normal Bengals team since Burrow's been there.
I agree with that. And, the defense just seems discombobulated. No matter how many points your offense scores, if you can't keep the opposing team out of the end zone, well, that's not a good sign. We're going to cue the music and do a little fun fantasy Mash Report segment. Now, Mash Report brought to you by Sean O'Toole and the O'Toole Factory. But all words aside, our fantasy Mash Report is coming up now, where I'm going to go around and ask all three of you about a fantasy. Who would you rather play this weekend, or who would you rather have in your starting lineup this weekend? With bye weeks being in full swing, these type of convos are very much needed. Joey, I'm going to ask you a simple one here. Bengals backfield, they kind of have two backs that have been switching off week by week here in fantasy. You had Chase Brown, Zach Moss there. Who would you rather have this week against the Giants? We were just talking about the Giants, so let's stick in this. Right now, Zach Moss averages 11.8 points per week in half-point PPR leagues, and Chase Brown averages right around there too, 10.4 points a week. Now, he is questionable, but say Brown is a go, he's expected to be. Are you playing Zach Moss or Chase Brown against the Giants?
Well, I hope for my fantasy team's sake that it's Zach Moss, but if we stick to it, man, it's true. You could truly flip a coin on that. Sometimes I feel like you can do the same almost with the Bucs backfield, but I'll go with my boy Zach Moss. A little heart there because he was a former Colt, but he's a tough runner. He's a dog. I think you need that when you go to New York. So give me Zach Moss.
J-Lo, Malik Neighbors set to miss this week's game for the Giants. We're going to stick with that game. Would you use Wan'Dale Robinson as a flex replacement with Malik Neighbors set to miss some time? Or are you using Devin Singletary as a flex replacement? His status is questionable, but assuming he plays, are you going Wan'Dale Robinson without Malik Neighbors, or are you going Devin Singletary assuming it's full point PPR?
I say Wan'Dale Robinson just because I don't know if Singletary's fully ready to go yet. It's too much of a gamble. So I say Wan'Dale Robinson. I would pick him.
Mr. Gene, we're going to head to you now, and we're going to head to London. Why not go across the... Oi, yeah. England. Oi. Gene, the wide receiver core on both sides, we're going to ask you to pick 2 out of the 4 for fantasy football out of these following wide receivers here on the Bears and Jaguars. You could start 2 of these 4. You have Keenan Allen,
Injured.
Rome Odunze, Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, and Christian Kirk. I'm not going to name DJ Moore because he would be obvious, but you have Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, and Christian Kirk. 2 of those 5, who are you going with, Mr. Gene?
Thomas and Odunze would probably be my choice.
I like that.
Keenan Allen has not, and we're seeing it here. I talked about this at the beginning of the season. The guy cannot stay healthy, and he's not dependable. I mean, when he's playing, he's lights out, but in situations like this, I don't know that I would want to try to depend on him. So I'm going to stick with that's going to be my choice. I just wish you could get more out of Allen.
I'll go with the last one. Romeo Doubs coming back this week out of suspension, 1-game suspension with the Packers. Dontavius Wicks is there as well. Who would you rather play? Wicks is a boomer bust guy. He had a down week last week. So for that reason, I think he has a big week this week with how boomer bust Mr. Wicks is. So out of Doubs or Wicks, give me Wicks. And that's our fantasy MASH report brought to you by Sean O'Toole and Company, where we give you guys some hard decisions to make with Joey's hard hat on. That's a big old hard hat as well. Big Blue, he bleeds blue. Speaking of bleeding blue, it's College Football Friday, as I love College Football Fridays, and we do have some good ones on tonight. So it's going to be time for our college football betting segment where we go around the horn and do the games of the week, and we're going to get into all of the Friday night games as well. We got a big 3 of Friday night games. There is some Ivy League action on early, but we're talking about good stuff here. So, Mr. Gene, we're going to start with you here on this Friday night lights. We're going to go Utah, 16th ranked in the country. They're minus 5.5 at Arizona State. That game's at 10:30 Eastern. That's a late one for the East Coast. Are you going with Utah minus the 5.5, or are you going with Arizona State at home? That game's on ESPN tonight.
I'm going with Utah. Utah's looked pretty solid. I not a Utah fan by any means, but I'm going to go ahead and jump on that.
I like that. Christopher Cole's in the house as well, saying Colts and Titans game will be a 3-point game or a blowout game either way. Well, yeah, I mean, kind of has to fall one way or another. But
Which
yeah,
one aren't
see
you choosing?
how that goes. Joey, we're going to go to you next. Northwestern and Maryland. Games at 8 o'clock Eastern on FS1. Maryland is minus 10.5. Who are you going with, Joey?
And they're at home, Maryland.
Yep.
As much as I want to be a homer with Northwestern being in the area, I can't do it. On the road, they don't have much going for them offensively. Give me Maryland.
UNLV, Utah State. I'll take this one. This game's 9 o'clock Eastern time. That game is, and that's on CBS Sportsnet. Give me the points at home. Utah State getting 19. That's a lot of points at home. I know UNLV's been good this year, but Friday Night Lights, they lost against Syracuse at home last week. Maybe they'll continue to struggle this week on a Friday as we continue our college pick'em here. Christopher Cole says Colts. He's going with the Colts as well. So
Christopher, what it do?
That's good stuff over there. Mr. Gene, we're going to start rolling the clock with you here. Now we're into Saturday games. This one's at noon Eastern. Washington, 3-point underdog at Iowa, Gene. Who do you like in that one tomorrow?
I like Iowa in the upset.
I like it. I like it. J-Lo, South Carolina getting 21 points at Alabama, noon Eastern kickoff. Where are you going with there?
I think Alabama smashes them. I think that loss last week was a wake-up call, and they're going to take it out on the Gamecocks.
Joey, noon Eastern tomorrow. Wisconsin +2 at the Fighting Shianos on the road at Rutgers. Where are you heading there?
You have what's the Shianos record? Aren't they got one loss?
Yeah, they're 4-1 or 5-1. One of the two. I think
Toes on the line.
Toes on the line, damn it.
Man. Give me Rutgers.
Clemson -21 at Wake Forest. That game's noon Eastern. Give me Wake Forest and the points at home. Clemson's a hell of a lot better football team. But as we've seen with Alabama and Vanderbilt, once in a while, the little dogs do have a big bite. I think Wake Forest loses by 17 or so, but I surely think they cover. J-Lo, 3:30 Eastern tomorrow. Memphis at South Florida in quotations because the game is relocated due to Hurricane Milton. It's taking place at the Camping World in Central Florida in Orlando. South Florida, 7.5-point underdogs in Orlando. J-Lo, where are you heading with that one?
I don't know. I feel like USF's lost the juice, man. Give me Memphis as the favorite to win that game for sure. For some reason, after watching them play Tulane, I just lost all confidence in USF the rest of the season.
Yeah, don't miss our breadwinners coming up here in a bit after college and NFL pick'em. We're going to get to our breadwinners. We went 3-1 last week. We're back to plus $40 on the year, although we're 11-2 in total. We're up money. So if you've
11
been
and
listening to
12.
us,
I think you meant.
Yep, 11-12 losing record, as I said, total, but we're plus $40 on the season despite a losing record. We'll take plus money. So, J-Lo, although you only have one win, it was our biggest win. We'll give you kudos to that. Speaking of kudos, Joey, next game to you, 3:30 kickoff. Texas minus 14.5 points on the road in Oklahoma. Where you heading there?
Yeah, man, a lot of people just think straight blowout. I mean, 14.5 is a lot of points, and it's in Oklahoma. I know they're not having a very good season. I'll say Oklahoma backdoor covers in what will be like a 42-28 game.
Cincinnati's at UCF. Cincinnati +3. Give me Cincinnati on the road, actually, with the 3 points. I'm not a big KJ Jefferson guy. He hasn't looked that great this year. So Cincinnati's had some fight in them. I'm going with Cincinnati on the road in that one. Mr. Gene, Stanford, Notre Dame. Joey will be at this game tomorrow. We're all going to do this game since Notre Dame's one of our beloved. Gene, Stanford is 23-point underdogs on the road. Do you think Stanford covers at 23 points?
No, I'm looking at Notre Dame, the Golden Domers, to do what they do.
J-Lo, Stanford plus 23 on the road. Do you think Stanford covers?
I do think Notre Dame wound up just crushing them. I think Notre Dame's getting a bit better after just pretty much rebounding from that upset loss a few weeks ago. But give me Notre Dame at home. They're at home, right? Stopping.
Yep.
Yes, they are. Joey, what say you? Notre Dame minus 23 at home.
Believe me, I would not be going to Stanford, but I feel like Notre Dame 23 is a lot of points. I'm going to actually say it will be 31-10 Irish.
Yeah, I think Irish win 38-14. I think they barely cover. Alec Aomaner will find his way into the end zone for Stanford. But
so the Irish fan is the only one not to pick them to cover. Go figure.
Yeah, let's see what
that
happens.
bodes well. That bodes well for me.
Yes, sir.
That usually does bode well. Gene, we're going to start with you. Penn State minus 3.5 on the road at USC. That game's a 3:30 kickoff. That's a far Big Ten travel now as Penn State goes from East Coast to West Coast. Who do you got in that one, Mr. Gene?
And Penn State, what is the spread?
They're minus 3.5. They're
I'll
giving
take the
3.5 points.
I'll take the
I like that. I love that. J-Lo, what say you? Penn State minus 3.5. Are you with Gene and taking the Nittany Lions?
Yeah, minus 3. I agree with Gene.
Joey?
I'll agree on this one.
You could be the lone wolf. That's all right.
I'm going with Penn State. I'm going with Penn State, obviously, as well, minus 3.5. Listen, USC, they play good against non-physical teams, but when it's time to get physical, they fizzle out pretty quick. Facebook, we're joined by the great Ed Rabasa, the Godfather James Rubright, David Ferrara as well. Bud Cannibalist says Penn State covers as well as we're cruising through our college football pick'em here. We picked all the Friday night lights. Now we're on to the Saturday slate. Gene, kick us off here. 7 o'clock Eastern. Florida plus 15.5 points at Tennessee.
That's a heated rivalry too. God, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Gene, where are you heading?
I'm leaning towards Tennessee.
Hard to blame you there. J-Lo's booing you though. J-Lo.
I'm just looking at the way the teams. I'm looking at the way both teams have played. I hate Tennessee. Stupid plaid field that they've got, or checkerboard, orange checkerboard, whatever that is. Looks like some cheese fell out of the bottom.
Gene going heel on Tennessee. J-Lo, Florida plus 15.5 at Tennessee.
Now we're on the subject. I'm glad I'm stepping in here. Last I checked, Tennessee has only beaten Florida twice in the last decade of their rivalry. So give me Florida on the road beating Tennessee, and Tennessee's going to go back-to-back losses after losing to Arkansas, and they're going to lose to Florida because Florida owns them.
Joey, what say you? Florida plus 15.5 on the road in Tennessee. 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow.
Tennessee 38, Florida 14.
I think Florida loses, but I think Florida covers.
He said flame on.
Dream on. Dream on.
I think Florida loses, but I do think they cover. Tennessee wins by 14, I believe, but I do think Florida covers. Mr. H says ND up 28-7. He picks over Stanford, and then he picks Penn State as well. So we're all on the Florida train covering outside of Joey, I believe. But no, Gene picked Tennessee, I think, but he came at the Cheez-Its. Gene, speaking of Gene, Washington State at Fresno State. Washington State minus 3.5, Mr. Gene. That game's a 7 o'clocker. Where are you headed?
I think I'm taking Washington State on that one.
I agree with that. I like that one. J-Lo, LSU plus 3.5 at home against Ole Miss, 7:30 Eastern.
Ooh, tough one. But give me Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss will take LSU. I think LSU are just not another team that's just not national championship material. So Ole Miss.
There you go.
Joey, Ohio State -3 at Oregon, 7:30 Eastern. That's a huge game. Where's your head at there?
That is a huge game, and I'm really intrigued because I haven't seen a lot of either team up close and personal yet this year. And although I'll be at the Notre Dame game, it'll be me another missed opportunity. But I don't like Ohio State, so I'll take Oregon.
Vanderbilt plus 13 at Kentucky. Vanderbilt coming off the heels of an emotional win. I think they get their doors blown off in this one. Give me Kentucky minus the 13 points there. It's hard to overcome those big time wins once you get one. J-Lo, Iowa State -3 at West Virginia, 8 o'clock Eastern kickoff.
Iowa State, baby. Rocco Bet. Staying undefeated. Go Cyclone.
That's your guy over there. Gene, Big Ten battle, UCLA +4 at home, 9 o'clock Eastern against Minnesota. Minnesota's been an up and down team this year. Who do you like in that East Coast or Midwest, West Coast Big Ten matchup?
I think I'm gonna stay safe and go with a UCLA on this one.
Joey, Kansas State, Colorado, hell of a game, 10:15 Eastern tomorrow night. Hopefully you're back from your Notre Dame truck by then. Prime and Co. were 3.5-point underdogs at home against Kansas State. Where you headed?
Well, if I ain't back by then, we must have ran out of gas or hit up Fuddruckers for a nice socks only meal. But in reality, I'm looking forward to watching that game in its entirety. And can you tell me the spread one more time? I just lost track of my thought.
Yeah, you're thinking about Mr. H's socks too much. Colorado's plus 3.5.
You know what? Give me Colorado and the points. I don't know if they're going to win, but they'll cover.
Kansas State's going to put the beats on them.
Okay,
wow.
hater. Okay, hater.
I'm just saying. I'm just calling it like it is.
That's fine. That's fair. That's fair.
MK, if you aren't hitting the like button, you are making me upset. Couldn't agree more, no matter the channel you're watching on. I love that. Puckhead is driving, so he'll be back by 6:30. He's on it. I'll handle the last game of the night, 11 o'clock, Boise State -20.5 at Hawaii. Boise State has the Heisman favorite, in my opinion, Ashawn Genty. You guys want to hear how crazy it is for his touchdown score odds? Mr. H, F socks. You got to bet $12.50 on Boise State's running back to score a touchdown just to win $1 back. Boise State by 1 million tomorrow night, and that'll do it with our college football bonanza. Now we're going to do our NFL pick'em. When we do NFL, we don't do spreads. We just do straight up NFL picks without the spreads. And we're going to start off with Mean Gene heading across the pond, as Gene's been across the pond. So we're going to start with him. Jaguars +1 on the road in London. Bears are on the road as well, in theory, but Bears lose a home game. 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Gene. Bears, Jags, who you got winning?
I've got the Bears winning this game, actually. I'm going Bears.
Going with the Chicago Bears. I like that a lot. J-Lo, Browns at Eagles, 1 o'clock Eastern. Who you got winning this one?
Eagles. Browns are just a dumpster fire right now. Eagles win big.
Yeah, Browns are just
every time I look at Baker Mayfield, I laugh at the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, Browns fans have to be hating themselves for that one. 1 o'clock Eastern, Cardinals at Packers, Joey.
Dun, 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 dun. Go, Pack, go.
Look at this guy, Rattler time, baby. We'll see how that goes for you, buddy.
Sorry to hear.
Twitch. Well, that's Speedy Joe. We got Joey here. We got Speedy Joe. I think there's someone named Sleepy Joe. We got all the Joes going on out there. Texans at Patriots. I'll take the Texans, even though it is Drake May. You know what? Fuck that. Give me Drake May at home in his first career NFL start.
No way.
Somehow surprising the Texans with the point spread.
Wow, that's ballsy right there.
With the point spread and the win, I'm going with the Patriots. Mr. Gene,
Wow.
are you going to be ballsy with Jaden Daniels on the road in Baltimore? Where are you going with, Mr. Gene?
I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore. I don't think that there's an answer for the running game. The Ravens running game, I don't think Washington has it. So I think that's gonna be advantage. It's gonna be advantage Ravens. So I'm gonna go with them. And you've got Lamar Jackson. So I don't think you can't go wrong. I think that's a safe pick.
J-Lo, Chargers, Broncos. J-Lo, where are you heading there?
I'm telling you,
4:05
man,
Eastern, that is.
Broncos are on fire right now. Give me the Broncos at home. They're just looking like a pretty good football team after all. That loss don't look so bad.
Yes, I think you're right there. And they head to New Orleans on Thursday night next week. Sean Payton back in New Orleans, but that's for next week's chatter. Joey, 4:05 Eastern, Pittsburgh at Oakland Raiders. Obviously Vegas, but I like the Oakland Raiders more.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders just made a quarterback change, and Pittsburgh might if they don't win. So there's a lot actually on the line in this one. I don't think Aiden O'Connell is good at football. I think he's better off in the Canadian Football League. Give me Pittsburgh.
Wow, that's harsh words, but you might not be wrong there. He hasn't been much since coming out as a rookie from Purdue, so maybe not wrong. Falcons, Panthers at 4:25. I'm going to go with Panthers upsetting the Falcons at home with the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton leading the Panthers to victory. Give me Carolina over the Falcons. Gene, Lions at Cowboys, potentially a playoff preview. That game's 4:25. Where you headed?
I'm picking the Lions because I hate Dallas.
The
Jerry Jones' tears it's an enjoyment for me. So on all joking aside, I like the Lions. I like how they've been playing. They've been pretty consistent this season, and I just don't know. You don't know what you're getting from week to week with Dallas. So come on. MK said he heard I wanted Devin White back. I don't need those kind of problems, man. I don't need those issues. So no, that wasn't me.
Hopefully that ship has sailed. J-Lo, I agree, Gene. I do agree. Bengals, Giants, Sunday Night Football, J-Lo, 8:20 Eastern. Where you heading?
I like the Bengals on the road, beat the Giants. I think they'll recover from all this tragedy losses. The Giants, to me, they're just another team I don't take seriously. They're just not a good football team.
Joey, take us home. Then we'll get to our breadwinners and final words for the program. Bills at Jets, 8:15 o'clock Eastern, Monday Night Football. Salah out of the building.
And the Jets will be at 2 with another L. Give me Buffalo in what could be a 10-point game.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one, but I do think Buffalo. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is pretty much a head coach now, Gene's buddy Aaron Rodgers. So we're going to have to see. Yeah, discount double something. But again, you guys are watching the Saturday Showdown on a Friday special. Couple more segments left, breadwinners and our final words. Joey's headed to the Notre Dame game tomorrow. I'm row 1 in New Orleans on Sunday, so I'm looking to avenge the Buccaneers on Sunday. We are going to get to our breadwinners now, and we're going to play the breadwinners music. Once again, we're 11-12 on the year, but we're plus $40. So if you've listened to us on the year, you have won $40. Right now, Gene is undefeated. It's only 2-0, but Gene is undefeated. So props to you. Joey's on the comeback trail. I've won 3 in a row. J-Lo's looking for his first since week 1, but he did hit the Georgia Tech money line to get us a pretty good chunk of change. Gene, do you know where you're heading for your breadwinner? Your bet of the weekend could be anything from tonight through Monday in the world of sports, my friend. Where you headed?
I think I'm going to go with Chris Godwin, the Chris Godwin pick.
Yards or touchdowns? He's over 63 and a half
It
yards.
was touchdowns, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I want to go with.
And I like that because that'll win us money. That would win us like $15 if God, or I'm sorry, because we do it in $20 increments. That'd win us like $30. So Gene's going Godwin touchdown. I like that pick a lot. I think he finds his way back into the end zone. But that's Gene's breadwinner of the week over there. Joey Nips, breadwinner of the week from you, my friend.
Yeah, my breadwinner of the week. Oh, I love it. It's going to be actually back-to-back weeks on a Green Bay -5 home against Arizona. I think, Green Bay gets their first big blowout victory win of the year on their home turf. So they'll get this one in a big way.
I like that pick. I think Green Bay is a much superior team and way better coaching staff. J-Lo. Mr. J-Lo, I'm interested to hear your breadwinner, my friend. Where are you headed to win your money this week?
So I'm jumping to a different sport. I'm going baseball. Give me the Tigers money line against the Cleveland Guardians, and they advance to the next round.
Wow, J-Lo going with the Tigers of Detroit, and that would win us, or that would net us even money, as they're pretty much a pick 'em over there. I'm going with the Bengals money line as my breadwinner. You bet $20 to win 13, so you don't win your full share back. But as I always tell people, a win bet is a win bet. Money made is money earned. So I'm going with the Bengals.
Bud Cannibals has an interesting one.
Bud Cannibalist goes DJ Moore TD. I love that. Like? And MK has an interesting one as well. He says Devin White's a clown. But if we were to look up DJ Moore's touchdown odds, those go plus 108. So you'd bet $10 to win 1080. And then MK says Mike Evans 2 TDs this week. As Neil is in the house. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, Neil.
As we get to our final word, as the great Neil always says, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn the notification bell on. Damn it. Like Pac-Man. Like. MK says Mike Evans 2 touchdowns. Speaking of touchdowns, Joey, you're touching down in South Bend tomorrow. Give us your final word. Big Notre Dame game, big Colts game for your teams this weekend.
It is, you got to leave it all on the line, just like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell left it all on the line. My football team's got to leave it all on the line this weekend. Notre Dame win, continue to move in the playoff rankings. Colts win, get to 500, get your first division win. That is the theme of the weekend. Battle to the very effing last second, because all these football games with all these parity comes down to the last effing drive. Let's go!
Yeah, let's go indeed. And you mentioned
Smackdown time. Time to lay it.
Last weekend, Wrestle Dream this weekend. So a lot of good stuff. I love the fucking energy though. Let's go. Great stuff there, Mr. Joey. We'll see you at the next show, my friend. J-Lo, final word for the program from you on your behalf.
Yes, shout out to the healthcare workers. Thank you for what you've done. Taking care of the patients during the hurricane, getting that over with, and then plus, I'm proud to be helpful best I can, and stay in Florida, stay strong. God bless.
Florida strong. Florida fucking strong. Yep. MK says I like the Joey guy. Brings the energy. Yeah, we need a little energy builder. When Gene and I man in the ship, J-Lo's somewhere out there. Gene. Final word for the program. Buccaneers, Buck, what you heard. Cross-platform Friday football show.
My thoughts are with everybody in Florida, everybody that's been touched by this, even if it's not directly, if it's family members, whatever. This really shows when we can all come together and put whatever differences we have aside and look out for each other. And I think that's what makes Florida unique, is when there's something like this that happens, we're all thinking of everybody else there, because we've all been through it. I don't know how many hurricanes I've been through, but if I were there, I would be dealing with it would impact me in some way. I do want to shout out to the crew of Santa Margarita. Shout out to the boys in Tampa and, Pinellas and even going down south to Sarasota. Everybody, we're thinking about you. You're not forgotten in what you're dealing with. And, this football brings everybody together and gives people a break from reality. And I hope we were able to do that today. And there are people that don't have power right now, like my man MK. And hopefully we can, we can get on track and get everybody back to where they are. Hurricane season's almost over. Shout out to the linemen. There you go. The linemen doing their thing. Duke Energy, Tico, all these guys doing their thing. And I appreciate all of them. Everybody.
We appreciate them all greatly. The linemen, first responders, the policemen, sheriffs, all the military, all the people in governance who made, like Gene says, this is a time people come together. A lot of tough calls being made. Yeah. Florida handled it the best they could. And really, these things are one of those things in life you can't take for granted. But I do think it brings this Bucs team together this weekend. You heard several players say they really want to win for the city of Tampa. After something like that, bring some joy to the fans between Evans, Baker, Mayfield, and gang. So Bucs win. Zion McCollum even said it's interesting having the families there. Liam Cohen referred to it as Noah's Ark with the pets and the families on board. And great job. My final word is shout out to the Glazier family for constructing such a great exit plan and for spending so much money, for bringing all the families to New Orleans if they wanted to, and if not, they relocated them to Orlando. Underrated. And shout out to the Vinix as well, the Lightning ownership. They did the same with the Lightning ahead of their opening game tonight. Good luck to the Lightning in Carolina there. But Gene, let's get a damn win on Sunday, brother. Love you, my man. I'm glad your family's safe, and I'll talk to you on Tuesday, I guess.
Peace,
brother, and have fun watching football. Let's fucking go. Fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Let's do it. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.